Mzamo Xala. We are at the IMC Conference today launching our design innovation company, which specializes in helping clients deal with innovation to prepare them for the future. We use design thinking, we use technology, we use customer research to make sure that what we do is loved by clients, is loved by customers, better for society, better for the planet. What made me launch this one is that there is a real need for innovation for growth in terms of businesses. But personally, I wanted to have a legacy of what a company that I could leave in South Africa that has a purpose to do things that are better for society, things that are better for the planet, things that are better for the customers through the lens of marketing, because that's my background. That's where I've come from. And my marketing background is very much in innovation. Generally, when people think about marketing, they think about advertising, which is very much part of what we do, but dealing with customer insight, finding white space to develop new products so that you can create value for business, for stakeholders, for investors is what I enjoy. Yeah. And I have always felt that in the marketing services industry, from a need perspective, that role from an outside perspective is fulfilled by your Accentures, is fulfilled by your Deloittes, PwC. I haven't seen an African unicorn company that's able to bring African insight into that space and build an African brand that leads into the future that will do that. For example, one of the bigger challenges that we should be solving is our education system. And there's a lot to solve in the education system. There's access to quality education at a basic level. There is access to advanced knowledge. But there's something that is happening that is more concerning, is that our African languages are not the medium of instruction. Because they are not the medium of instruction, they're culturally not a medium of thinking. Therefore, the generation of people and kids that we are building today will never be able to connect to their roots, will never be able to think of problems from a language that puts them back in their roots and see things from a language perspective. Let me give you an example. If you are Zulu and I'm Zulu, and you think about how you need to teach kids how to learn language from when they're born until they're 5, there's a very specific way how you train them. And there's a very specific way of the think patterns in terms of how you train those kids in order to understand the language. That same system used in another language does not work. But to train your kid in another system and expect them to operate in the language of home becomes a confusion and a difficulty. What happens is that then we lose out as a country in the language economy. If you go to France, everything they do is in French. It does not matter whether it's English, whether it's Chinese, they do it in French. So the language of economy for radio, the language economy for media, the language of communication is huge for French people. What are we doing to not discard what we have? We want to keep English, but we must make sure that we are equalizing with other languages to make sure that they thrive into the future of Africa. That problem is not only African. Mexicans who are going to America have the same problem. Chinese who are trying to learn English have the same problem. So this dual twin language is the future of where things would be. It also gives you cultural ideas and cultural insight into how people behave. It allows you to understand a bit better how customers use certain things and why they would not use certain things. So I think it's a powerful space to solve African problems for Africans and solve global problems for Africans as well. So I think that's one. There's things in pharmaceuticals that I don't enjoy a lot. And I think to myself, if I understand English, that's great, but I don't understand Afrikaans. Why is that pharmaceutical medicine in this country is only written in only those 2 languages? If I lose the script from the doctor, how would I be able to read how to take this medicine? So I think the future of AI allows us to have a QR code in that medicine. You click your language and then you get an instruction from your doctor in terms of how to use this thing. And we haven't progressed to that. Now, what is great about where we are technologically is that we can bring language into the future. We can bring other industries into the future. And that's the kind of legacy that we want to leave, tackling real problems, industrial problems, societal problems, planet problems, so that we can leave a better place than with what we found it. So that's how we built that business in terms of those three areas really: society, business, and planet. And there's a lot of opportunity in society. And if you solve society pain points, you're likely to do very, very, very well. You're likely to make a mark in this world. And I think that's important for us. And I think that's so important I had something very different in my office not so long ago. Somebody said that, why is the CEO concerned about process and performance? CEO should be concerned about society and people. Because when you run people and you lead people, they'll deal with the processes and everything else. So what you're saying is that when we deal with society and governance, we might get the environment right. That's what you say, that's what I'm understanding. And I think it's such a powerful in terms of what is the higher order of things that allows us to solve the other things that are fundamentally giving us pain at an everyday level. And crime is actually the same. If your economy is not growing, you will have crime because less people have jobs. That's the fundamental issue around crime. It's not about building more jails. It's about growing the economy. So I think there's an opportunity to do that. There's an opportunity to make sure that a better society has a little bit of a pathway, because every generation must leave something positive on earth. I think that's one of the reasons I thought, let me go into my own path. Let me go and develop things. I'm ready. I've been a CEO of a top company in terms of advertising. I've worked for Unilever, I've worked for Diageo, I've worked for Vodacom, I've traveled the rest of Africa, the rest of Europe, and constantly there is this understanding that if we don't fix things ourselves and look for somebody else, it will never be fixed. And we also have unique talents that were given to us when we came onto this earth, and that's why we're here. And that voice that says you need to do something in this area kept on growing, and I finally decided it's time to do it.